London, capital of the United Kingdom. It's a sprawling city with a perfect fusion of tradition and modernity, a concept that exemplifies the unique character we're about to meet. Here, people cross paths without seeing each other and hear more than they listen. To correct this, a man with ancient origins has opted for an uncommon way of life. Here he is.
Hi, my name's Francis Firebrace, and I'm a legend. Let me show you why.
Welcome to the fantastic world of Francis Firebrace, Mr. Happiness. His story begins in Australia. Born to an Aboriginal father and European mother, he lived an isolated life in the Australian bush. He became a cowboy, then an actor. But after a life marked by tragedies, he will get a fresh boost from the Aboriginal culture, which will make him this happy, generous, serene, and now legendary human being.
As far as I can remember, he's completely and utterly different from any man I have ever met. Really. He keeps me on my toes. I never get bored.
Francis Firebrace had known happiness with his wife and children, but it was tragically taken away. He had to face the death of his daughter, then of his wife. He left everything behind and sailed the 7 seas for 10 years. He started captivating tourists with the ancestral stories he carried in his memory. But it was his infinite kindness that made him this character loved by all.
He hugs people all the time. He never stops. Anywhere, everywhere. You have to build an extra half an hour into any kind of travel plan with him because he will stop and chat with everybody.
In Aboriginal culture, to communicate, physical contact is as important as words. As much at ease in this pulsating city as he was among kangaroos, Francis stops people, makes them laugh, and spreads his contagious joie de vivre. A few words, little attentions, and lots of affection. He's got something for everyone, and it works. In less than an hour, he's approached dozens of people who all ended up hugging him.
How are you doing, darling?
I'm fine, thank you.
That's the best way to be, because I've tried all the others. Yeah, just about. Now, I believe that you're a famous woman, is that correct?
No, I'm not famous.
Well, you are, but you don't realise you're famous. I grew up with an Aboriginal father and a mother who was German and English. I remember us camping by the side of the river as I grew up, and I was about 5 or 6, I was holding a lantern for my father when he went around his traps to get the various animals. And I used to go down around the riverbanks and hide and pretend I was shooting the bad guys. I go wherever the journey of life takes me. Life's a journey. And mine has been an amazing, adventurous journey.
Over the years, telling Aboriginal stories has become a job for Francis. A true ambassador of an ancient way of life, he tells fables to remind people that happiness can be found in the simplest things. He also likes to tease and provoke his audience.
I'm breaking English tradition today by actually speaking to people.
Oh, right.
And it bloody feels okay. I'm going to do it more often. What do you think of that?
That's very good.
Is that good? When you separate people, you weaken a society. Aboriginal people were never separated. We all lived in the same society, families, and we all call one another brother or sister or uncle and auntie.
Yes, it's the way he tells the story. He just takes you to the place. He just builds this great big picture up and takes you there, and you're riding along with it. He's so good at telling stories. He used to do a little bit of storytelling in Avalon and around Sydney. He went to Vietnam, Edinburgh. So he did a lot of that. When we came over, I started getting him work. The word spread, and I was just like networking every day, cold calling, but it was just getting bigger and bigger.
He's in demand everywhere. Talks in schools and prisons, in front of large audiences, or like today, in a quiet nursing home.
Baggeray. The kangaroo stood up and said, I am Baggeray, the great grey kangaroo. Listen, animals, look how strong I am, so that must make us the best group. A lot of you people learn to step outside the comfort zone and open your minds and your hearts. You'd have a lot better time, and the whole world could be a party.
The event this afternoon was so wonderful. He was so outspokenly straight, and again down to earth. And I've never heard him speaking about anything bad. It's always been good. And as he says, there's good in all of us, but we've got to accept that we are different.
He does so much. I don't do anything really. And then you see somebody like Francis doing what he does, you think, well, I could do a bit better than what I do already, you know. So, yeah, he does. It gives you the thing to think, I'll do a little bit more.
I'm running on Aboriginal time, which means I start when I feel like it, and when I've had enough, I just finish. What made me what I am now is a belief in myself, but that took a long time to accomplish this. I've never had any training in art, but I have natural ability in many areas. I'm also pretty good at making films, damn good. I've got 6 award-winning films in the National Archives. I have a very visual mind and a very open mind, and also I have an adventurous spirit that wants me to keep going.
They say you killed a lot of men. How many would you say?
I lost count a long time ago. I retain the Aboriginal spirit, and I want to make a difference to our culture, which is being lost a lot.
Our preacher of happiness loves to meet young people. His stories are his way of encouraging them to be open to others and raising their awareness.
Now, I've got a song I've got to sing to you because I've got no time to mess around. Are you ready? I just came in from away out yonder. Tell us where the good times are. Do you find some of the older people a little bit stiff? Yes or no? Quick. Yes, but you know what that is? That's a cultural thing. So I break a lot of rules and regulations, but not in a bad way, in a good way. Do you think that's good? Yes. And I want you young people to grow up. I don't want you to have barriers, because fear is a barrier, isn't it? Who believes what goes around comes around?
Whilst he is often speaking to very young school children, everything he says is appropriate to any age group. It's just about being nice, and it's really important to remember that and stick with it.
Because Aboriginal people, white people, European people, Nordic people or whatever, we're all linked. By allowing people to understand your culture and inviting them in so they understand the culture and where you're coming from helps to bring people together in a more understanding way and thus make a better world. I'm going to take you on a journey to Australia very quickly. Are you ready? We're in the middle of the desert and it's 42 degrees heat. What's the first thing you're going to ask me for? Water. Water. You can go without food, but you can't go without water. Is there a pen here? Yes.
The story continues to unfold through paintings this time, an original way for Francis to share his culture and traditions.
He was like really kind and like really open, and he didn't really mind what anyone said about him, and he was just really honest. Made me think like better about what I can say to people. And
like all the stories he told, it told us like a lesson about what we should do in life, so like judging them and all that.
Oh, my bro. You said you wasn't very good at it. I think that's excellent, man.
I'm trying.
Well, of course you try.
It's the first time I've done Aboriginal painting.
Is it? Well, I'm going to have to take you to Australia with me, but we can't mess around. What are you doing this afternoon?
But he will go alone, as always, seeking a smile and a hug.
I had the courage to step outside the comfort zone. Now I haven't only stepped outside the comfort zone, I've lived and still do, partly outside the comfort zone.
Thousands of kilometres away from his native land, Francis Firebrace keeps on promoting his culture and philosophy of life. By telling his tales filled with strange creatures, or simply by hugging passers-by, he values the whole of humanity. As a free man, he continues his adventure with no other luggage than a huge happiness to be shared.
I'm a millionaire. I don't have much money, but I have freedom and the courage to pursue my dreams and my passions. And that's what life's really about at the end.
So, Karen, it's just you and me. No boys, they might be in later, I don't really care. What do you feel like doing?
Well, you know what, Lenka? I think a guest would be a good idea.
That's a great idea. What kind of guest?
Well, how about an Aboriginal storyteller?
Whoa! Francis Firebrace, welcome to Cheese TV.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here at Cheese TV.
Welcome back, Cheeseoids. We've had a great day. We've been chatting with Francis Firebrace and we've heard the platypus story. And Francis, we'd really like you to come back one day.
Yeah.
You're going to come back, right?
So good.
I'm definitely going to come back. Brothers and sisters out there, I'm coming back to tell you one of the wildest stories that you fellas ever heard.
Right.
It's about the Sun Woman, but I'll leave that till next time.
Beautiful.
In this day and age, most parents work. Their children come home and do they go down to the park and play? Do they climb trees? Do they get a few cuts and bruises? Do they make mud pies? Or do they sit in front of a screen playing artificial games? So let's get our kids away from the PlayStation 3 for a while, shall we? Let's get them out in the fresh air. Let's get them meeting other children of their own age group. Let's get them focused. Let's teach them to believe in themselves. Give them a light at the end of the tunnel, because that's what we all need. And if we don't do this, we're not going to change this society.
We've had an absolutely fantastic day. The children have learnt so much, so thank you, Francis, for all you've taught the children about Aboriginal life.
And they were fascinated. For the whole hour you were with them, their eyes were glued to you, which I thought was lovely. They loved your stories, they loved working with you, and they loved taking part, and they listened very, very carefully, because I think the sort of person you are, you grab their attentions very quickly, and they become mesmerised by you, and I think they really look up to you and respect you. You're somebody different, and like you were saying earlier, you're bringing a bit of freedom to them, that they, you know, something out of the ordinary that they don't always do in their day-to-day life, and we love that. So thank you very much for coming to visit us.
What did you children think of that today?
It's really good and it's really fun and it's great, and I hope you enjoy it. You enjoyed being with us and helping us and showing us all of your stuff that you've done for us.
Thank you, little sister. That's lovely. Thank you very much.
You're very kind and sweet, and you're also entertaining as well.
Thank you.
Did you enjoy being here?
Yes, I did, brother. It's been great meeting you all. Okay, is there any more questions? What do you want to ask me?
Come on, who's asking questions?
When am I coming back? When would you like me to come back?
Tomorrow! Come back every day.
I quote, one child said it was the best day of his life. We've had stories and played the didgeridoo and just had the greatest day. Thank you so much, Francis.
You were
Very good. The children really enjoyed it. You really know where to go with the children and how far to go and how not to go.
Yeah,
just
the right level, and
yeah.
they think you're great, and so do we. We
Yeah.
love this day, and we've all been looking forward to it because we were all here last time, so it was brilliant. And thank you very much.
I think it's a breath of fresh air. It's been absolutely fabulous today, and from the start, I mean, just takes everybody by storm, and it's just done wonderful. Well, it's a real way of looking at kids, and just you see a bit of blend where it takes you, and you've got a mixture of humour, philosophy, and the moral tales underneath it all that behind the fun and the innuendos, but behind it is really great stuff. So I think it's been fabulous, and I know the kids have really enjoyed it. We'll have you again.
The first time I saw this guy, I was walking down the corridor, and this furry thing walked out of the toilet. I was just jaw-dropped. I've seen many things walk out the toilet at Woodland School. This is the first time I saw this grey Aborigine in a fluffy furry coat. I was just, but what a nice guy. What a lovely, heartwarming, genuine guy. Brilliant.
Very energetic approach. Grabbing the kids' attention. That was absolutely fantastic. And we've had a ball with the paint.
Wonderful.
Absolutely brilliant. Great.
Lovely, lovely day.
Great.
Are you coming back to see us again soon?
You're such a character that our kids are characters in this class, and you just matched them and over. They just loved you.
They just were completely immersed in your assembly, and so then obviously when you came around to the classes afterwards to do all the artwork, they were so looking forward to just seeing you again, and they were loving the artwork and yeah, enjoyed every part of it.
We do. Interesting day, a thought-provoking day for many people, staff and children alike. And Francis has been particularly skilled at working with small groups of children and individual children with special needs. He's done some art workshops which were fantastic, where the children produced pieces of work that they loved and are very proud of. We're very pleased to have met him. He's also been able to spend some time in our local library telling stories to the general public.
I thought it was very challenging. I think you made us all think. I think you made us uncomfortable at times, but that's not a bad thing. And I think we're all going home with lots more to think about. And that's for the children and for the grown-ups as well, which I think is brilliant when you can get at more than one age range. It's really good. So thank you very much for a really nice day.
And you want a hug?
I do.
It was very fun, and I like doing the Aboriginal art. They're nice and you're kind as well, and you like everyone in the school that's new, that come here. And you're nice as well.
Thank you, darling.
I thought you were very open and warm and very natural. I really enjoyed listening to your stories, and it made me think about our society and the society that we live.
I learned loads and loads more about Aboriginal history than I would have ever dreamed of knowing.
You're extremely talented and you are brilliant with the children.
I think your style of teaching is what we should just all do if we were allowed to do it.
Our children have quite low self-esteem, and it's becoming more of an issue year after year, and I think that what Francis is doing is really important to develop their self-esteem and to make them feel better about themselves and know that every child is special, and we really need our children to believe that. So I'm a big fan and big supporter of Francis's work in schools.
Just fantastic the way you come over and present yourself, and you're child friendly, you get involved with them, you talk on their level, but then you have the adult features as well, which is quite nice.
You really connect with the children who perhaps need that support, and you can immediately home in on the one child in the room that really needs that attention, and you pull them straight out and they adore you, so I think it's fantastic.
Well, I think that's a lovely thing to say and I appreciate that. Now, here's trouble.